So today we're going to be making minced garlic and garlic powder out of sweet onions. So I had about 3 onions that was, as you can see, about to go bad. It looks like they were going to have like a little mold on the outside. But I've learned just from trial and error that the inside of this onion is actually still good. So if you just peel off a couple layers, it's perfectly fine on the inside. It's just been like that for sitting around. So these first 3 onions I'm going to take, and I'm not going to mince these. I'm sorry, I'm not going to dehydrate these. I'm actually going to freeze these because they were so old, and these I will use in my like sautés, anything that or soups or anything that I'm about to cook. Onions actually freeze good. You don't have to saute them first. You can actually put them in the freezer raw. I would suggest to put them in something like a Ziploc bag because they will stick together. So when you put them in something like this, they'll actually be able to break apart when you're ready to use them. So just put them in a Ziploc bag and just get out as much air as you can. And whenever you want to use them, you don't have to use the whole thing. You can just break some off and saute them. Now this onion is huge. This is the actual onion that I'm going to dehydrate. I wanted to dehydrate more than one, but I wasn't sure as how much that I can put on one tray in order for them to dry effectively. So I took my, what is this called, mandolin slicer, and I think I put it on number 1, and I sliced them as thinly as possible, and I'm going to put them on my dehydrator. My dehydrator is, I've had this dehydrator for like 10 years, and it's round. It only has 4 trays. But I'm going to link in the description box a link to my Amazon store where you can buy a nice dehydrator for a nice price. But anyway, I'm going to put all of them on there, and I'm going to, it's about, at this time, it's about 5:30 p.m. So I'm going to see what it does. This is actually my first time dehydrating onions, so I'm going to see how long it's going to take. So after about 3 hours, I check them, and this is what they look like. And I'm going to tell you that the house is going to smell like onions. I mean, really, really smell like onions. So I wanted to do this in the garage at first, but I didn't feel comfortable putting them out in the garage. So I just decided to keep them in the house. But yeah, so this is all 4 trays of what they look like after 3 hours. So it's about 12 hours later, I came downstairs, and yes, the house did smell like onions, so I decided to do a simmer pot with some cloves and a couple sticks of cinnamon. And I also found a lemon that was on its last leg, and I put a couple slices of that in there to try to get rid of the smell in the house. So this is the next morning, and they are all dry. It was a total of about 11 and a half, 12 hours. And I'm going to get these ready to go into the blender. I have a Blendtec blender. It's a high-tech blender. You can do this in your coffee grinder. You could do it in just your regular blender. But any pieces that was left over like this, these are the ones that I'm just going to crush up and leave like this. And this will be like things that I will put in soups or things like that. And the rest of them that's on the trays, those are the ones that I'm going to actually turn into a powder. So I started it off with just a little pulse because I wasn't sure how long I was going to have to blend it. And after I gave it a little pulse, I turned it on low speed. After taking a look at it, low speed actually looked like a fine mince, and I wanted a powder, so I decided to go up to meet like a medium high. Yeah, this consistency was perfect to me. So I got a 4-ounce jar, and that one huge onion minus the minced part that's on the side and the couple scragglers that fell. I probably got about 1 ounce of powder. So I have maybe around like 12 more huge onions like that I need to process. So I know that I can fill this up and have more out of those 12 onions. So I just used store-bought onions to get a feel of what I was going to do this this summer, because I am starting my own onions this month. So I wanted to get a feel of how I was going to process them when it's harvest time. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing.